Timothy Gillespie, a member of the graduating class, who will give the invocation.
Let us pray. Let's give thanks to all the faculty, family, and friends gathered here to celebrate the completion of a program of hard work begun by students with an earnest desire to contribute to the healthcare field through dentistry. Also, let us remember those who are not with us today, this being a year in which tragedy has seemingly taken more than its toll. Watch over this service as we present those who have excelled in the curriculum and honor each student who has successfully met the requirements necessary to attain their degree. Allow us to remember this day as the day in which our careers have surely begun and from which many of our paths will now diverge as each finds their own way in life. Lastly, direct us to use this day as a springboard to successful careers in dentistry and move us to attribute this success in part to the foundation laid here. Amen.
Please be seated. And every time I stand up here, we use the Alabama Theater, I guess, for the last 4 or 5 years. It's a marvelous old building. Those of you who have not had a chance to do so, I would strongly suggest that you take a little time after the ceremony just to look around at the building. I'd like to welcome everybody here on behalf of the faculty and the administration of the School of Dentistry, the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and the University of Alabama System. All of them are represented here. It is a privilege for me to welcome the families and friends of the young men and women who are being honored this afternoon and who are going to receive the degree of Doctor of Dental Medicine conferred at tomorrow's graduation exercises. We are extremely proud of you, the graduates, and all of your accomplishments. I also want to congratulate the families and friends who have sacrificed to support their efforts. I know that you're as proud as we are of their accomplishment, and I'm certain they join me in thanking you for your support that made all this possible. There are numerous people up here with me on the dais, and I'd like to introduce everybody. Please hold your applause until all have been acknowledged, and then join me in welcoming them. First, we have our distinguished Mr. Hill Lecturer, distinguished Professor and Dean Emeritus, Dr. Jim Pittman, who I'll have the pleasure of introducing before his talk. And please stand. We have Mr. Tom Rast, who is a Trustee Emeritus, who has been very faithful in coming to the dental school honors convocation throughout the years. Has been a wonderful friend of dentistry. I'm also very pleased to have all my bosses here today. It makes me a little nervous. Everybody I work for is here. We have Dr. Charles McCallum, who's the President of the University of Alabama at Birmingham. We have Dr. John Durant, who is the Vice President for Health Affairs, with us here today. And we have Dr. Leonard Robinson, who was a Dean Emeritus and was a Dean of the School of Dentistry some years ago. We have representing the faculty in the senior class, Dr. Louis Miniker, Associate Dean, School of Dentistry, Dr. Milton Essick, Assistant Dean for Clinical Affairs, Dr. Kent Dalcanis, Assistant Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. David Greer, Director of Student Affairs, Dr. David Koth, Chairman of Restorative Dentistry, Dr. Bob Tiffel, who is the class president, Mr. Timothy Gillespie, and Ms. Karen Bailey. We have also representing the Alabama Dental Association, Dr. Bill Deborde, and representing the alumni, Dr. John Barnes. So let's welcome these people with a round of applause. I would like to just make a few remarks before I take over my role as the Master of Ceremonies. You know, we realize that your parents and graduates had a choice in selecting a dental school, and we really appreciate the fact that you did select the University of Alabama School of Dentistry to pursue your educational endeavors. We also wish to assure you of the value of this education that this class obtained. By any standard as judged by research, education, or clinical activity, the University of Alabama School of Dentistry is very high up, related very highly up in the nation. And Dr. Pittman will probably elaborate on that theme a little bit as we go along. It is also housed in a medical center that is first class and is fast becoming one of the premier centers, if not already the premier, one of the premier centers in the United States. I would also like to take the opportunity to acknowledge some of the special groups that have made this day possible. Of course, you graduates are the focus of the day, but first I would like to honor the mothers, fathers, spouses of all graduates who are, I am sure, as happy to see this day come as the graduate. Please stand and be recognized. Secondly, I would like to acknowledge the people who have made the educational process possible. As an administrator, I simply facilitate. But the faculty is the backbone of the process. Would they please stand? The faculty, please stand. Now, I'd like to just kind of address a few words to the graduates. You know, dentistry is a wonderful profession, and I think you've invested very wisely in this profession. But as in any profession, you must prepare for change. Nothing stands still, and the mark of a successful person, institution, or profession is the ability to deal with change. It is no secret that we're going to have healthcare reform. The only question is what and how and when. So you have to start thinking of what sort of world will you practice in. And it will probably be far different than the world that I have practiced in. As it now stands, trends are clear. Dentistry probably has not been earmarked as much as medicine, but I am quite sure that it doesn't take a genius to see that when medicine has changed, dentistry will be probably as part of the healthcare team as well. There will be cost containment or attempts at it. There will be an emphasis on primary care versus specialty care, and certainly in medicine. There will probably be changes in what the Congress and the President considers restrictive practice acts, so that they will allow physician extenders. And this will not necessarily mean sort of an increase in governmental programs which dentistry is going to have to deal with. An address by the President of the American Association of Academic Health Centers covered some of the perceptions as to how other people see us. This is a man who's a physician, and it's like Dr. McCallum, who's the chairman of the Association of Academic Health Centers, and he sees dentistry as, number one, tightly knit and self-controlled, and that means private practice-oriented, individual practice-oriented, our professional organizations taking care of our individuals, but without much tendency to get involved with other health professionals and things of that sort. We have long had a tendency to stay out of societal and governmental schemes such as Medicaid, third-party payer, and things of that sort. And that's the way we are perceived. We do produce enough dentists to care for about 50% of the population who seek our care. We've been very successful in doing that. If we wish to change these perceptions, however, we must be part of the solution, which means more involvement in healthcare teams, the exception of the fact that we're going to have to deal with governmental and societal needs. And we have to produce enough education to people who should have dentistry, that they should seek it, and then we need to be able to produce enough care for that other 50% of our nation. To an extent, we must solve or balance a long-standing dilemma of America. And that is the balance between individual freedom and societal needs. It's very interesting. In this same article, the same dilemma was faced by our forefathers. Thomas Jefferson, on one hand, who was a populist, who believed very strongly in the individual's need to deal with societal issues, and Ben Franklin, on the other hand, who was a strong believer in the individual rights, and actually said that God helps those who help themselves. And so this argument has been put forth in America for a long period of time. We as a group probably tend to be like Ben at the present time, but probably are going to get closer to Tom as times go forward. You have many expectations. You're a highly trained professional with a costly education, and certain things perhaps you think are owed to you. You expect your staff to be totally committed to your practice yourself. You do not expect to have to market yourself. You expect to have a quality practice for which you are well paid. You expect to have the respect of your colleagues and fellow men. You expect your patients to automatically accept your advice, and you expect a good lifestyle. All of this can be accomplished, but not without a permanent commitment and realistic goals. One thing to really remember is that more dreams are shattered by inactivity than poor judgment. So when you get out, do something, even if it's wrong, anything. I want to wish you the best of good luck and a good lifestyle. I would now like to introduce Dr. Bill Deborde, who is going to welcome you from the Alabama Dental Association. He graduated from the University of Alabama School of Dentistry in 1959. Following graduation, he entered the U.S. Air Force Dental Corps and served approximately 2 years as a sole dental officer in Germany. After his discharge, he entered private practice in 1961. He's been very active in numerous professional organizations and is the incoming president of the Alabama Dental Association. I'm pleased to present to you Dr. Bill Deborde, representing the Alabama Dental Association.
Click in your side.
Doctors McCallum, Matukas, and Pittman, and honorable graduates, I really would rather address you this afternoon as Scott and Vic, new doctors, your spouses and sweethearts, mama and daddy, grandmother and granddaddy. As I see it, there are 3 ingredients that I recommend to you and hope that you will establish for the balance of your life. Firstly, fellowship with your compatriots. Dentistry otherwise can be very lonely and become just another job, not a part of our grand healing profession. Scotty told me one afternoon, many years ago, in oral surgery clinic, as I was in the mouth, he came and peered in and he said, that hole can get awfully dark and deep and lonesome when you're alone. Do you remember that, Scotty?
You do it with your other.
You still do. Thank you.
Go ahead.
You need the friendship, the fellowship of your peers. Secondly, integrity is that moral internal sense of right and wrong. It is that evaluation of what is the best treatment plan for a particular patient. It is doing unto others as you would have them to do unto you, even as Jesus said. It is a dedication to being a perpetual student of the art and science of dentistry. None of you have arrived at this accomplishment alone. Your life from birth through all of your academic career has been made possible by teamwork, the third ingredient. Your new profession has made its quantum strides in this context. You cannot be all that you should be alone. Our great profession needs you, and you need it. The 1,400 members of the Alabama Dental Association collectively comprise the team that I urge you to become a part of and deeply involved in. This is the only viable avenue to give you the voice, the direction, and the representation that you need and will increasingly need. Happily, there is a bonus for doing so. The fellowship we spoke of, and the encouragement in integrity. Fellowship, integrity, teamwork, fit. Makes one fit. My best personal regards to you, as well as my congratulations, and also my prayers.
Thank you, Bill. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. John Barnes, who is the incoming president of the Alumni Association. Dr. Barnes graduated from the University of Alabama School of Dentistry in 1981. He has practiced general dentistry next week in Gulf Shores, as well as being installed as President-elect of the Alabama Academy of General Dentistry. He serves as the President of the Huntsville-Madison County Dental Society and is a Fellow of the Academy of General Dentistry. I'm pleased to present to you Dr. John Lawrence, who would like to bring greetings to you from the School of Dentistry Alumni Association. John?
Dean Matukas, thank you. Dr. Pittman, Dr. Deborde, other distinguished members of the platform party, family members and friends of the graduates, and most importantly, the reason we are here, the graduates. That word sounds great, doesn't it, graduates? I'm proud of it. I was hoping to be the first on the program so that I wouldn't have to follow anyone with speaking ability, but I'll be speaking from the heart, so I think we'll be okay. I never thought I would end up back here where it all started, much less standing at this podium. But this illustrates how the great profession of dentistry has carried me to so many places, both literally and figuratively, that I never knew I would go. And that is exactly the point that I want to give you today to take with you. But first, I want to welcome you to a great profession. We are here today to honor a major accomplishment in your lives that, if you think about it, has taken all of your lives to date for you to complete. So congratulations. Not very many people in the world reach this pinnacle. You are special. You and this faculty and this school have worked very hard together for you to achieve a dental education that is one of the very best in the world. By any measure or rating system that you care to use, this School of Dentistry continues to rate as one of the very best in all the world. You are soon to be one of its graduates. Think about that. As you meet graduates from other schools, you'll realize that you can be very proud of yourself, your school, your faculty, and most importantly, your profession. If you give back to dentistry and to your patients, you will be rewarded in return. One of the first things you can do to give back to dentistry is to join the Alumni Association of the School of Dentistry. And I encourage you to get involved in all of organized dentistry. As incoming president of the Alumni Association, I warmly invite you to join hundreds of other alumni who love this school, who love this profession, who realize what they have, and who realize how important it is to give back. The Alumni Association exists to seek ways to help promote the School of Dentistry and its programs. Many of you benefited directly from our scholarships and/or our financial support of other scholarly endeavors. As a member of the association, you're entitled to a free weekend of continuing education each February as a part of our major annual meeting. You will soon learn that to keep your state license to practice current, you will be required to meet a certain amount of continuing education each year. Our annual meeting is a great place to meet many of those requirements. The Alumni Association also raised the money to create the Joseph Voker Endowed Professor's Chair, now brought to fruition by its occupant, Dr. Carl Leinfelder. We contributed a large portion of the money to refurbish the student lounge, which I hope you had time to enjoy. There are many other activities and programs of the Alumni Association of which you have or will benefit directly, including today's Lister Hill lecture to be given shortly by Dr. Pittman. But now the Alumni Association is embarking on its biggest challenge to date. We will raise $1 million to go towards the addition and renovation of the dental school. I want you to note that I said we will raise $1 million. This is a can-do school, and its graduates are can-do people. There is a direct relationship between the image of the school and your image as a practicing professional graduate of that school. The condition of the current facility reflects poorly upon us and affects the way we are seen by other professionals in the state and the nation, and ultimately by the general public that we serve. No matter how you feel about this school at this moment, I hope you realize how good this school has been for you and how good this school will continue to be for you during the course of your career. For those of us that have preceded you, our DMD degrees have served us well, and it can serve you well also. So as I said in the beginning, here's what I hope you will take with you. This profession can take you a lot of places that you can't imagine as you sit there today. But you must give back to dentistry. You must give to your patient. The patient is the reason for your being. In closing, thank you, congratulations, and welcome.
Thank you, John. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel better already. My next task is a very pleasant one, and that's the introduction of our special Lister Hill lecturer. First, I will tell you the official things about Dr. Pittman, then I want to make a few personal notes. Dr. Pittman is the Distinguished Professor and Dean Emeritus of the University of Alabama Medical School. He's a graduate of Harvard Medical School. He did his internship in medicine at Mass General in Boston and his residency in medicine at the University of Alabama Medical Center. He's very well known, very respected both nationally and internationally, and is the recipient of numerous honors and awards. He has served with distinction, I might add, as the Dean of the University of Alabama School of Medicine from 1973 to 1992. Now, in a tenure of deans, that is a very, very long time. I think the average medical school and dental school dean probably lasts 3 to 5 years, then you burn up all your loyalty and you're gone. So he's managed to find his way through the academic morass. On a personal note, Dr. Pittman, those of you that are not graduates of the school, we have a peculiar relationship in the sense that the basic science departments actually report to both dental school and medical school deans. So there's this intimate working relationship that has to exist between the School of Medicine and the School of Dentistry, which probably doesn't exist in any other school in the country. I've been to 4 schools and it certainly didn't exist in them. Dr. Pittman has been, since 1973, had an opportunity to work with every dean in this way, except for Dr. Volker. So he knows us all well. He knows dentistry very well. He's been a friend to us, and he certainly is somebody that I feel better. I feel like I'm a better person for having known Dr. Pittman and having the opportunity to work with him. Finally, I don't know if the emblem is on the front of the building, but Dr. Pittman designed an emblem for the School of Dentistry, which we now wear as a little pin. It has Dr. Joseph Volker's crest, who was the founding father of the School of Dentistry, and the words truth and wisdom inscribed in Greek. As graduates, I think that crest means something. Accept truth. Don't make the world what you think it ought to be. Make the world what it is. And apply it with wisdom as you chart your way through an ever-changing professional career. Remember, your obligations are always to provide the greatest service to your patient population. It is now with great pleasure that I present to you the 1993 Lister Hill lecturer, Dr. Jim Pittman.
Thank you, Dean Matukas, Trustee Rast, President Callum, Vice President Durant, other guests, relatives, and students. I very much appreciate being here with you at this convocation for the class of 1993 as you formally complete your dental educations. As Henry VIII said to his third wife when they were married, "Don't worry, dear, I won't keep you long." The main thing to say, I think, is congratulations on having completed a superb dental education, one of the best in the world. You've heard that over, but it's true. And congratulations not only to the graduates themselves, but also to the parents and spouses and siblings and children and sponsors and others whose support was so critical in getting us all here this afternoon. I personally appreciate being here also because, as Dr. Matukas has mentioned, The medical school and dental schools here at UAB share a close and in many ways unique relationship. There are currently 54 schools of dentistry in the United States. Actually, there are 55 today, but in a month there'll only be 54 because one's closing, Chicago. And exactly half, only half of those 54, 27, have basic science departments which are jointly operated by the medical and dental schools together. The others have separate departments, which I think impairs them. Now, while comparisons are odious, and I'm sure many of the graduates of other schools are excellent, our arrangements at UAB have enabled us to develop really superior basic science departments. Departments of microbiology, physiology, pathology, and others are as good as any in the country, and in many cases lead in the amount of research money and other indices of their excellence. The Department of Biomaterials, for example, another example, was originally started by the School of Dentistry, and I think maybe Scotty started that, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he started. It now does research and teaching in the medical school as well, especially in orthopedics, and it's now one of the top such departments in the nation and world, in the forefront of areas so critical to dentistry in the future as implantable teeth, I suppose, and things like that. This excellence in the basic science departments has in turn enabled you as students here to obtain a much better and higher quality education than would have been possible otherwise. And that background is going to help you understand and use the new drugs and therapies coming along in the years ahead, particularly from biotechnology industry and in prosthetics. And then you may have a better appreciation of all those hours of work you put in going through those departments and those topics. This joint medical-dental arrangement was a result for the efforts of the first dean of the dental school, Joseph F. Volker, in 1948, and during a few years after that. Dr. Volker was dean of the dental school when I came here, when I arrived in Birmingham in the mid-50s, and he became a good friend. In 1962, Dr. Volker moved up to become vice president for health affairs, and Scotty McCallum replaced him as dean of the dental school. Then in 1973, I became dean of the medical school and dealt very closely with Scotty, especially in matters concerning the basic science departments. All the dental deans were really excellent administrators, and I enjoyed working with them. They always made sure that the dental school got its fair share of whatever was there. But in fairness, I have to say that they also supplied the dental school its fair share when there were problems, often more, contributing to major advances in the medical school as well, such as enabling the UAB to obtain the largest NMR spectrometer in the United States at the time for the Department of Biochemistry and the UAB Cancer Center. Our destinies were inextricably bound together. Then Joe Volker became the first president of UAB. And finally, he became the first chancellor of the University of Alabama system, and Scotty moved up to be vice president. Once these dentists get started, there's just no stopping them, and you're started, so you're in good shape. Well, Scotty then became president of UAB, and so 2 of the first 3 presidents of UAB, there have only been 3, have been dentists. They were previously deans of the School of Dentistry. 2/3 of our presidents, in other words, have been dentists so far. If things really get tough out there in practice, you can always come back and be president of UAB. There are a few preliminaries you got to get out of the way, of course. I also enjoyed working particularly with Dr. Leonard Robinson, with whom I had a close and excellent working relationship. And in many ways, those years with Leonard Robinson as a dental dean, Scotty McCallum as vice president for health affairs, Dick Hill as president, Joe Volker as chancellor, were the happiest and most productive of my life as dean of the medical school as well. We had a very good team, and they had a good staff as well, as Kitty Robinson and Jane Williams and the others, who came out of the dental school as well. And I'd like to acknowledge here how much I appreciate those times and how much they helped build the medical school and all the schools at UAB. I'm sorry not to be able to continue another 20 years with Dr. Matukas, but the calendar marches on like a dentist, and it's impossible to stop. Now, this talk is also called the Lister Hill Lecture. Well, who was Lister Hill? Well, he was from Montgomery, Alabama, served in the U.S. Congress from 1923 to 68, 45 years. He was in the House of Representatives from 1923 to 38, and then senator from 38 to 68. a total of nearly half a century. Of course, he knew Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, their colleagues across the nation, but he also knew Herbert Hoover and Calvin Coolidge. He stretched a long way and covered lots of ground. Lister Hill was a son of a Montgomery physician and was named after Sir Joseph Lister of Britain, with whom his father studied surgery in the latter part of the 19th century. It was Dr. Joseph Lister in Britain who first introduced antisepsis and carbolic acid, and it was for him, Joseph Lister, that Dr. Hill of Alabama, Montgomery, named his son Lister. Though Lister Hill himself went into law rather than medicine, he nevertheless retained an interest in health care, and he probably contributed more to health of people throughout the United States and world than he would have as a doctor. His contributions were chiefly two. First was the Hilburn Act of 1946, which provided federal funds for building health care facilities across the nation, mainly hospitals. The first Hilburn hospital ever built is in Alabama, the Lanier Memorial Hospital over in Lynette on the Chattahoochee River in the east. Lister Hill's second major contribution was the building of the National Institutes of Health, NIH, which this year will expend about $11 billion of federal money for the support of biomedical research. The NIH is special. The NIH will remain a major contribution to humanity for all time and will remain a jewel in all civilizations throughout all eons to come as a result of the work of this great Alabamian and great citizen of the world. NIH did not have to happen. It was Lister Hill and a few other people who made it happen. Locally, your dental school was the most heavily funded dental school in the nation, or in the world for that matter, for many years in research money. I remember how people would sometimes remark to Joe Volker, well, you certainly were successful in getting that pork barrel funding at Lister Hill. And nothing ever made Joe Volker more angry and mad than that. He would say, we competed fair and square, head to head with the best there are anywhere to get those funds. We were funded because we competed well, not because of political connections. But for whatever reasons, and I don't doubt that we did compete well, but I also don't doubt that Joe Volker used the political connections when he could. But your school, for many years, did receive much more research money than anybody else. The rankings of these things fluctuate and change from time to time, but UAB remains among the top schools in number of dollars received. And that's not somebody's opinion. It's the number of dollars received granted to this institution because the people around the country believe that this institution used the money wisely. Actually, at the present moment, I believe we're second only to Pennsylvania, and we'll probably pass them shortly. With regard to practice, your school is also excellent. I've visited a number of the nation's dental schools, and that's not just a polite comment either. The facilities here were upgraded during the tenure of each of the deans, and they're now among the best in the country. I know some schools are strong in research but are weak in practice, and that's not true here. In fact, the U.S. News and World Report last March ranked our dental school as 7th in the nation in a complex system of votes and indices. Well, this is the first time that magazine has attempted to rank dental schools, and it's obvious that their system isn't working very well yet. They'll get it straight pretty soon. But still, out of 55, 7 is not too bad. All the healthcare in the United States appears to be in turmoil right now. As Dr. Matukas mentioned, healthcare reforms in the news every day, and nobody knows what it holds for dentistry or anybody else. But we do know for sure that oral health will remain a problem for people as long as there are people. A few years ago, there was great anguish that we were overproducing and had already overproduced dentists. We had far too many for our needs. And the applicants for dental schools plummeted. 6 of the dental schools closed. Well, several years ago, I was on a special committee to examine a dental school in another state, and I learned some interesting things. One is that the population, of course, everybody knows population is aging, and there are going to be more older people among us in the years ahead, probably all of our lives, than there have been in the past. What we may not have thought about is that more and more of these elderly people are retaining their teeth. And these teeth, retained as a result of good dental care, as well as fluorides and the like, will need still more care. In fact, the calculations I've reviewed at that time say there are going to be far more teeth in the year 2010 than there were in 1980. And the associated periodontal disease, and other oral problems. The pediodontist won't disappear either, regardless of this healthcare tumult. Orthodontics will probably flourish as all re-blossom as the old ladies like to look nice for the old men and vice versa. So I don't worry about dentistry. It'll continue. But dentistry does deal with quality of life issues, and as one ages and grows older, these issues become more and more important. So you can and will make major contributions to people's lives, and that really is the real reward. And because of dentistry's relative distance from third-party payers, dentistry may escape some of the worst traumas that other healthcare disciplines will feel. The income of dentists has risen in the United States faster than the cost of living each of the last 4 years, and in Germany, I understand the dentists, on average, earn more than the physicians, MD. But don't get too attached to the financial aspects of the profession. You'll come to be known as nothing but money grubbers. Psychiatrists have a big problem in this regard. Maybe you heard about the elderly patient who visited a psychiatrist and said, "Doctor, I think I'm losing my short-term memory. Maybe Alzheimer's disease. I can't remember things an hour ago. What do you think I ought to do?" And the psychiatrist said, "Pay in advance." That's not a good image for the doctor to have. But what's the most important thing to remember just now and in the years ahead? Well, I think it's to remember that dentistry is a service to our fellow human beings. Health care is not just an empty, idle term. It means we care for people. There are probably exceptions, but I know of no doctor who really became good friends with his patient and was sued by the patient. But avoidance of lawsuits is not the only or even the main reason to get to know your patients and become friends with them. The main reason is that only by becoming a friend of your patient can you give optimal care. And the work then becomes more interesting in those circumstances as well. So lucky is the man or woman who is interested in and enjoys their work, which also provides a livelihood. May your work always be interesting and enjoyable to you, and may you be friends with your patients. Congratulations to all of you, and good luck for many years to come.
On behalf of the Alumni Association, I'd like to present you a token of our appreciation for being here and giving us those very positive and meaningful remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jim. I promised you that this would be an entertaining speech, and it certainly is. As a note, Dr. Pittman has a tendency to philosophize. So I told him before he gave this speech that I wanted to see it written down and what he was going to say and how long. He did it very well. But we do sincerely appreciate your taking your time from the busy schedule to participate in this ceremony with us. It is now my privilege to present some special honors to members of the graduating class. Will the recipients please come to the stage to receive your awards? The first is the Alpha Omega Scholarship Award. The national organization of the Alpha Omega Fraternity presents this award annually to this dental student in each dental school, not necessarily an Alpha Omega, who has attained the highest scholastic average for 4 years. The recipient is Todd A. Fisher. The second is the International College of Dentists Award. Each year, the International College of Dentists presents a bronze on wood plaque honoring the graduating student who has shown the greatest development during the 4 years of dental school. Scholarship necessarily enters into the selection of the recipient, but the intent of the award is to recognize continuous academic growth rather than the maintenance of a high scholastic performance. The recipient is Sheila Nichols. Award for Leadership. Awards made by organizations, institutions, and faculties who are covered in honors. But no compliment is greater, however, than the recognition of one's contribution by his or her peers. The recipient of this award is a member of the graduating class who has displayed outstanding leadership in school affairs. He or she is elected by the upperclassmen of the student body. The Alumni Association provides a duly inscribed plaque to be presented. The recipient is Barry Rowland. Fourth is the Alabama Dental Association Student Leadership Award. Each year, the Alabama Dental Association makes available a plaque and a cash award to be presented to the graduating senior who has demonstrated leadership qualities. In selecting the candidates, the faculty of the School of Dentistry has expressed the belief that the recipient has the potential to become a future leader in the profession, possessing the motivation and dedication to pursue the betterment of health of his or her patients and the advancement of the standards of his profession. And the recipient is Robert Pfeiffer. The American College of Dentists Award, the American College of Dentists presents a plaque to the graduating student who has demonstrated the highest degree of technical ability throughout his or her career as a student, and the recipient is Todd Fisher. Memorial Award is sponsored by the Phi Chapter of OKU. It is presented annually to the graduating dental student who is judged to be the outstanding student in basic sciences. The recipient is presented a duly inscribed certificate and a monetary award. The recipient is Tina Chung. OKU is our national honorary dental fraternity. Students are elected to membership on the basis of both scholarship and professional stature. The scholastically highest 20% of the graduating class are included among those nominated, and elected comprise 12% of the class. I'm going to ask the recipients of OKU to stand, and I would ask you to hold your applause until I name them all. And please remain standing. Tina Chung, Clint Evans, Todd Fisher, Philip Jones, Chris McManus, and Ramon Ruiz. I'm going to sort of break a rule that Dr. Pittman told me never to break, and that is to deviate from the script a little bit. Deviated from the script one year and forgot to introduce the speaker, and I'll try to stay on that much. And I would like to sort of ad-lib here a little bit because, and I've sort of instituted a new award, and it's a personal award. Every year, as a senior class, we have meetings between the deans and the senior class and other classmen. I have a lot of dealings with whoever happens to be the SGA president. And I've been blessed with very good people who have made my job easier by having people who have facilitated this conversation. So, as a special award from the dean, I would like to present Brian West, a personal award from me, and as a token of my thanks for helping me with my task. Brian, please come forward. to select the recipient in recognition of outstanding scholarship and leadership. And so it's not necessarily based on grade point averages, but it's also based on leadership in the dental community as well. It's a solid gold medal mounted on a duly inscribed plaque. The recipient is Ramon Ruiz. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. David Coates, who is the chairman of our Restorative Dentistry department, and who will announce the recipients of the Achievement Awards. Well, the graduates will also come to the platform to receive their awards. Dr. Coates?
Thank Dr. Matukas for the honor of representing the faculty of the School of Dentistry as chairman of the Honors Convocation Awards Committee. And on behalf of that committee and the faculty of the School of Dentistry, it's my privilege and my pleasure to present the following achievement awards. The Academy of Dental Materials, Mehdi Mirshahadi. Academy of General Dentistry Award, Leanne T. Nevins. Academy of Operative Dentistry Award, Brian Kendall Beard. The American Academy of Dental Radiology Award, Craig A. Rock. Academy of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgeons Award has two recipients, Ramon Ruiz and Charles Michael Lott. Academy of Periodontology Award, Christopher McManus. Association of Endodontists Award, Christopher McManus. The American Association of Orthodontists Award, Clint W. Evans. Excellence Award, given in honor of Dr. Palmy Moeller, Brian Kendall Beard. The American Society of Dentistry for Children Award has 2 recipients, Amy B. Flowers and Douglas H. Grant. Birmingham District Dental Society, Karen B. Bailey. The Award for Excellence in Research, Mehdi Mirshahidi. Award in Removable Prosthodontics, J. David Northcutt. Prosthodontic Award for Outstanding Accomplishment, Jeffrey P. Lowe. Quintessence Book Company has 3 awards as listed in your program. The first one for excellence in research, Tina Chung. For excellence in periodontics, Brian D. West. For excellence in restorative dentistry, Karen B. Bailey. The Leonard Robinson Oral Pathology Award, Christopher McManus. Because they are new, the next 2 awards that we're going to give are not listed in your program. The first, the American Student Dental Association 1993 Award of Excellence, goes to Barry Rowland. second of these awards is the Student Affairs Award. This year it recognizes enthusiastic and dependable participation in class, school, and student government association activities. In addition to serving as editor of the student yearbook, the Dentistry. This award goes to Sandy Martin. Turn the program back over to Dr. Matukas.
We now would like to go through the process of awarding the hoods and your diplomas, which you will be given tomorrow. The diplomas actually will be given tomorrow. And I would like to invite the graduates to come forward to receive their hoods. The first row, please come to the right. And I would ask you to take off your hats while you have your hoods bestowed on you. It's a very difficult task, I can tell you that when you get the hood over a mortar board, especially if you're 6'6". And I would like to have Dr. Greer present the hoods. And I think, Bob, you're going to put the name here.
would like to pay tribute to Mrs. Irma Finn, who is Dr. Finn's wife, who is with us today. Good to have you with us as always. With the senior class of the graduating class, please rise. If you'll turn to the next to the last page in your program, you'll find the dentist pledge. Do we have her? Next to the last page. If you would repeat after me, I would appreciate it. As evidence of the esteem with which I hold my chosen profession, and with full appreciation of my responsibilities to my fellow man, implied and expressed by my degree in dentistry, I do hereby willingly pledge that I will execute to the best of my ability the theory and practice of dentistry, so that I may do honor to myself and my profession, that to the best of my ability I will endeavor to improve myself through continuing education by whatever means available, so that I may keep abreast of the advances in the science and techniques of dentistry, for the betterment of my patient. All this I accept with pride in my profession and with humility at the magnitude of the work to be done. Thank you very much, and sincere best wishes in the future. Thank you.
There will be no recessional when after the benediction, the ceremony is officially over. We do have a reception outside with some punch and cookies and cakes and sandwiches, and everybody is invited to please take part in this activity. I would now like to introduce Karen Bailey, who you've already met a couple of times, to give the benediction.
Will you pray with me, please? Dear God, we again express our thanks for this very special day and for the occasion that has brought us together. We appreciate so very much the love and encouragement of our families and friends that have made this day possible. We also thank you for the efforts and guidance of the faculty and administration who have shared with us their many talents and skills. As we are soon to go our separate ways, we ask your continued blessings and guidance as we endeavor to serve. Help us to seek excellence and to be diligent in all our efforts. Help us to bring honor to you, our school, and our profession. This is our prayer in his name. Amen.
Again, thank you for coming, and congratulations again to the graduates. Thank you.
Heavy.